people in the room like Joe Rogan and Eddie Bravo, et cetera, were characterizing MMA as sort of the best athletes, best sport.
Not true.
And it's not true. Well, according to you played sports with very, very good athletes, and I wanted to pick your brain on that because I have a great deal of respect for the athletes in the UFC. I think MMA takes everything from an athlete.
Mentally toughest sport in the world.
Yes, but quarterback.
The quarterback might beg the differ.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I was wondering what
closer in baseball beg the differ. Goalie in soccer beg the differ. But
it takes
there's
mental
a lot
toughness.
All of it's tough. It's different.
I mean, tennis,
it's different arena.
Being Roger Federer, tennis is
5 hours, 5 sets.
5 hours, 5 sets.
Mental concentration
and with the ball that goes that fast.
Different animal. But in that room, remember the perspectives they have, and that's why I got quiet because they don't even have a foundation to start from as far as
team sports,
NBA. NFL, like that's not their game.
They never played. They never played.
But they don't watch it. They're not into it. So if I'm making references to LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, all these guys.
I would imagine Russell
Porzingis.
Westbrook would probably do pretty well in MMA if he applied himself.
God, he'd be a beast. A beast. He's the guy I don't want to fight.
I agree.
He's got
his
attitude. 6'4", 215, fast as shit. He dominates other world-class athletes with his attitude and his speed and. He's doing something historic right now. Russell Westbrook, I've said to friends many, many times, that guy would be a beast in the ring.
I think he's the best athlete in the world. I do. I think with his attitude.
Even more than LeBron?
LeBron's like a bigger physical freak, but what Russell Westbrook does, and he doesn't have the help and his attitude, and
he's nasty.
He's mean.
Yeah,
he's nasty. You want him on your team.
Yep.
But back to that stuff as far as the comparison. There's always going to be, we don't know what LeBron James would be like if he got punched in the face.
That's true. That's an X factor.
It's an X factor, but at the same time, too.
But you were talking about pure athleticism.
Pure athleticism and just the amount of people who play these sports and the amount of people that go to fighting. In fighting, it's really no one's first choice unless they're not good at anything else. Let's be real. And I love mixed martial arts. I love the UFC. Yeah. And the sport's growing, and there are some guys like Yair Rodriguez or Roy McDonald who started MMA from a kid.
Yeah.
But that being said, that's usually not your number one sport to fall back. Like, it's not your passion, you know? Mm-hmm. And so, like, if you look at all the athletes in the UFC, and there's some exceptions, but if you look at myself, I was a failed football player, failed professional football player. And then I made it in the UFC. But top 10 in 4 years.
Yeah, you didn't start fighting until you were 24.
Yeah, because I didn't want to be a fighter as a kid. I'm not an aggressive guy. But also, I failed at football. I'm a good athlete. I love jiu-jitsu. I love competing. There was an avenue for that. So, Stipe, world champion of the world, he's not hearing a peep out of the Cleveland Indians. Granted, he did batting practice, hit a home run, but Stipe wouldn't make the Cleveland Indians. I know Stipe listens to the show. I love you, brother. I've trained with him. He's a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah, amazing.
But he's probably not going to have a career in the Major League Baseball. You know?
Yeah, in other words,
it doesn't work that way. It just it doesn't. And
fighting is a different thing.
It's fighting, but it's so new too. Yeah. Like if take for example, take a college kid right now. And out of let's say he wrestled in college and wanted to be a professional fighter. By next Tuesday, he could be a professional fighter. Now, let's say out of college, you played college basketball. You want to be a professional basketball player? Good luck.
Yeah. Well, there are 10 slots.
But the sport's so new, and there's no draft and no venting process. And like I said, it's usually not people's number one sport because there's no blueprint. There's no direct path. Their chances of being famous are not good. It's not a team sport. When you're a kid, especially maybe it's changing now. I don't know how it is now in middle school and high school. But when you're a kid, you're not signed up for taekwondo because you're a ridiculous athlete and you and make friends playing basketball.
Right. Your
parents aren't saying, I know you like playing football and you're really, really good. Let's focus on taekwondo.
No, definitely not. But would you say this? I've always contended that MMA takes more it requires more of all of you. So if you're fighting another man in mixed martial arts, you have to be able to wrestle with him. You have to be able to submit him. You have to understand how to punch him, how to kick him, how to knee him, how to elbow him. And then you have to understand distance and space. You also have to be able to take shots, roll with shots, move out of the way. Doesn't that require more out of, let's just take two athletes of equal measure? Doesn't it take more from the athlete doing mixed martial arts than the athlete shooting a jump shot in the NBA?
No. It's
No?
different too. It's different.
And you're also not really good at all those things necessarily.
You're not. Who's a master at all
those things? Joe Rogan said it last night. When somebody, it's evolving into, you're going to have to be high end at mixed martial arts, Muay Thai, and Taekwondo. You got to be a striker. You've got to be able to take guys down. You got to be I agree. If you could all do all those things at a super high level, you'd probably be a super athlete. But look, there are basketball players out there that, are great shooters but aren't great rebounders. There are, there's sports, or...
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, that it feels like, I always felt like, say, if I'm a wide receiver in the NFL, I got to be able to block, be able to catch, I'm getting tackled, I'm getting hurt. It requires a great deal fast, all that
powerful,
stuff.
Smart, read a defense.
Focused,
you're still running a route.
Focused, mentally strong.
Mentally
you got to know the plays.
Oh, and then you're also going against probably the best athlete on the other team every single play.
Right. Yeah.
And then if you're really good, you're getting double teams. So it's two professional athletes against one.
That's right.
Because you have a safety over the top who's probably a pro baller.
Right.
So you'd say that.
And then he's also been playing football. That guy you're going against, he's playing football probably 20, 25 years at the highest level there is.
Yeah. So in other words,
because he was a all-star in Pop Warner. He went to high school. He was All-American. Then he got recruited by college, played Division I football, probably at a major school like Ohio State, Florida, Florida State, Miami, UCLA, UCLA.
Well, there's no question that it's challenging
because it's very tough to make.
Yeah.
And then he goes from there and he's drafted out of 300 players in all of college football. He's drafted, and then when he's drafted, you have to make the 53-man roster that's full of vets that were also drafted, who were also superstars in high school and college. And then you got to make that team. Then you got to get on the field and be a starter. Then you got to be one of 11 guys who makes that team.
That's so insane.
So the competition level is so much higher than anything in the UFC right now. And it's not a knock on the UFC. The UFC's new.
Right.
Football's been around for how long? Baseball's been around for how long?
Right.
It's not their fault. It's just the state of the athlete right now.
But all I'm trying to say is that, do you think that the sport itself and all it entails to be a mixed martial artist, so when you fight 25 minutes like Benson Henderson against somebody, and all the things that he has to do to get to the end of that 25 minutes and win, does that require more from his body, his mind, his agility, his balance, than it does to be a football player in the average game after 25 minutes?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Talk to a quarterback. Talk to Tom Brady. As far as full body.
Well, that's cerebral too, right? I mean, it's
both.
As cerebral
it's
as it
very
gets.
both, and it's also making critical decisions of 10 other men and being a general and realizing a defense that's changing at nanoseconds and realizing where the window is going to be open at the highest level, the very, very highest level.
Yeah.
It's different now.
It's different,
and everyone's like, God, how are you going? I'm not going bad at MMA athletes. I'm not. It's just the nature of the sport right now. It's very, very fun. They're all challenging.
You're qualified to say it. You played football for 20 years. You fought for 10 years. You're allowed to say it. You're allowed to have a very strong opinion about it, I would imagine, because you articulate it well.
It's different with the mentalities too, because to be a fighter, I would say mentally are a lot tougher than a lot of other athletes, because to get that, you have so many failures and you're humbled so many times to get to that level that they're usually mentally stronger than all other athletes, because you're not facing that. Like Carmelo Anthony's been spoon-fed his entire life. LeBron James has been spoon-fed all his life. When you lose a basketball game, I can come out the next night and put up 60 points. I'm back on top.
Absolutely.
Even if they lose, LeBron still always plays pretty well.
More damage from a fight.
The peaks and valleys are way more that you have to deal with. Yeah. That's what's impressive. And also the money, there's no benefits. So those guys are, you're talking about the guys are doing it for the love of the sport.
Yeah.
But if you put on let's say you had an Olympic event, if that's your way to qualify the best athlete, or a combine, NFL combine, maybe mix a combine together that's specific for MMA and other athletes.
Yeah.
The UFC roster would finish last out of the NBA, MLB, and NFL.